Let's begin with a common confusion many of us carry: the difference between being lonely and being alone. It's easy to mix them up. We often hear people say, "I feel so alone," when what they truly mean is that they feel lonely. Or we might see someone sitting by themselves and assume they must be feeling isolated. But the truth is, loneliness and aloneness are not the same thing at all. In fact, you can feel lonely in the middle of a crowd, and you can feel deeply at peace when you're completely by yourself. The theologian Paul Tillich said it beautifully. Loneliness expresses the pain of being alone. Solitude expresses the glory of being alone. So let's explore what that actually means, starting with loneliness. Picture a person sitting alone in a city park, surrounded by empty chairs. Despite being in public, they feel invisible, as though no one sees them. That's loneliness. It's not just about being alone, it's about feeling emotionally disconnected from others. It's that aching, hollow sense that we're cut off from meaningful connection. It hurts, not just emotionally, but physically too. Psychologists define loneliness as a deep, involuntary sense of isolation. It comes when there's a gap between the connection we want and what we actually have. Maybe you're at a party and no one really talks to you. Maybe a friend lets you down. Or maybe you just feel unseen, even when you're surrounded by people. It's not just a passing mood either. Chronic loneliness can affect your health. It's linked to depression, anxiety, and even heart issues. So when someone says, "I feel lonely," they're not just saying they're alone. They're saying they feel disconnected, unsupported, unloved. Now let's shift gears and talk about being alone, or what we often call solitude. Imagine someone walking through a forest, alone but peaceful. The air is still. No phone, no noise, just them and the trees. This is solitude. It's the physical state of being alone, but without the emotional pain of loneliness. In fact, solitude can be deeply calming and energizing. It can be a choice, one we make to reconnect with ourselves. Think about those quiet Sunday mornings when you curl up with a book, or those evening walks where your thoughts finally settle. Or maybe you just enjoy working on a project without distractions. That's being alone, and loving it. Research backs this up. Being alone doesn't always mean you're lonely. Some people thrive on minimal social interaction. Others feel lonely even when surrounded by friends. It all depends on whether solitude is chosen, and whether it feels safe. So the key difference is this: loneliness is often imposed on us, while solitude is something we embrace. One hurts, the other heals. Let's go deeper. Where do these experiences come from? Loneliness tends to stem from the outside world. It's a reaction to how others treat us, or how circumstances separate us from others. When people reject us, or life pushes us into isolation, that's when loneliness creeps in. Solitude, on the other hand, arises from within. It's shaped by our mindset, our self-awareness, and how we relate to our own company. One way to put it, loneliness is the result of a disconnect with others. Solitude is the result of a connection with yourself. If you have a strong relationship with yourself, if you feel secure and grounded, then being alone doesn't feel scary. In fact, it can feel empowering. But if you fear being alone, or you equate it with being unwanted, even a short time by yourself can feel unbearable. And here's something fascinating. A study showed that our beliefs about solitude actually shape how lonely we feel. People who feared being alone felt more lonely after solo time. Those who embraced solitude felt less lonely. So it's not just the situation that matters, it's your mindset. As Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company." So, how do we embrace solitude and use it to grow? The good news is, once we understand that being alone is not something to fear, we can start seeing it as an opportunity. Solitude gives us the space to reflect, to hear our own thoughts, to reconnect with what we really care about. In quiet moments, our creativity wakes up, our ideas start to flow, our mind begins to breathe. That's why so many artists, writers, and thinkers have sought out solitude. It's in those quiet hours that insight often arrives. Maybe you felt this too. That morning cup of coffee before the world wakes up, a solo walk after a long day, a peaceful dinner alone in a restaurant where you're not trying to impress anyone, just enjoying your own company. In those moments, you're not just passing time, you're recharging, you're meeting yourself again. You're not lonely, you're home. Solitude can even reduce stress, improve self-awareness, and help you build emotional resilience. It's not a void, it's a powerful space. So what's the big takeaway here? Loneliness and being alone are two different things. One is the pain of disconnection. The other is the power of self-connection. When we fear being alone, we often seek out noise, company, distraction, anything to avoid that silence. But when we embrace solitude, we begin to realize we are enough. Being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. It can mean being free. being clear, being present. So next time you find yourself by yourself, don't rush to fill the space. Take a breath, sit with it. Because sometimes, the best company you can keep is your own.